Priyanka, you can start.
हेलो एवरीवन, वेलकम टू आवर चैनल टीम कासा चैनल। सो मैं सीए प्रियंका कुशवाहा। आज हमारे साथ हैं सीए शुभम अग्रवाल जी और सुमित सर भी हमारे साथ हैं। तो इन द कंटिन्यूएशन ऑफ आवर वेबिनार्स ऑन टीम कासा चैनल, आज हमने वेबिनार ऑर्गेनाइज किया है ऑन जीएसटी ऑडिट। आज हमारे साथ शुभम अग्रवाल जी हैं और शुभम अग्रवाल जी इज more than 10 years post qualified experience है उनके पास, and he has also presented in most of the webinars, and he was the special invitee. He has been the special invitee by indirect tax committee. मैं शुभम सर से रिक्वेस्ट करूंगी कि आज का वेबिनार स्टार्ट करें, बट उससे पहले आई वुड रिक्वेस्ट सुमित सर कि आप वेलकम रिमार्क्स दें हमारे जो भी व्यूअर्स हैं उन सबको।
Thank you, Priyanka, for wonderful introduction of Shubham ji. Once again, welcome to all viewers for joining this Team Casa platform in this regular learning series. And today's special topic is GST audit by the departmental point of view under Section 65. A special insight on the department ऑडिट मैनुअल। तो आज हम डिस्कस करेंगे वेरियस एक्सपेक्ट की जी डिपार्टमेंट कैसे जीएसटी ऑडिट को कंसीडर कर रहा है अपने व्यूज के साथ। और हमारे साथ एमिनेंट एक्सपर्ट एंड माय गुड फ्रेंड शुभम अग्रवाल जी विद अस, एंड ही इज directly associated with academic field in various level of ICI, NIRC and other platforms. So once again welcome to you Shubham ji for joining this platform, and now I request Shubham ji to start deliberation on the technical topic. And Shubham ji, पहले हम टॉपिक कवर कर लेंगे, इन बिटवीन या इन लास्ट हम ट्राई करेंगे कोई क्वेरीज हैं तो वो कवर की जाए।
Definitely, Sumit.
ठीक है,
Thank
ओवर
you
टू
very
यू।
much. Yeah, thank you very much, Priyanka ji and Sumit ji, for providing me this platform to speak on the department audit under Section 65 of GST with special insights on the department audit manual issued by the department itself. So I will start my screen sharing. Is my screen visible, Sumit ji?
Yes, Shubham ji, yes.
Right, sir. So, sir, we will be discussing Section 65. Uh, Let us first understand some basics that we would now be witnessing a lot of notices under Section 65 by the department. Till now, we have not received too many notices under Section 65 because of two major reasons. One, that the department was waiting for the annual returns and annual audit, that is 9 and 9 to be first over, and was waiting for them to get completed. And we know that these audits were over in February of 2020, and thereafter, from March, there was a coronavirus pandemic all over the world. So, according to my view and my analysis, I think the audit notices will now started to come. They will now start to come, and for that we should be ready and we should be well versed with the technical know-hows of Section 65. The biggest question that arises is that on what basis the units will be selected for audit under Section 65. The earlier criteria which was issued and undertaken by the department was that pick the assessee having the maximum turnover, pick the assessee having the maximum amount of duties and taxes paid. But now the selection has become more scientific. It is not necessary that in the jurisdiction a person having maximum tax will only be picked up for the audit under Section 65. Now, what is the scientific criteria? We will discuss in the upcoming slides. In brief, the audit process undertaken by the department would be by first creating a SESI master file, then a desk review would be undertaken. They would either call the SESI to the department or the department officer would visit the premises of the SESI. A revenue risk analysis would be done based on various informations gathered, based on various answers filled by the SESI. A trend analysis would be done that is the turnover increasing over the period of time, is the duties and taxes increasing year after year. Lot of information will be gathered, evaluation of internal controls would be done, and thereafter audit would be concluded. There are a lot of GST annexures described in the department audit manual, and we will discuss a few major and important ones in the upcoming slides. Before we begin, what is audit under Section 65? Let us first understand the major definition of audit under Section 2, Section 13, which is the base for various other audits. For example, under Section 65, we have the department audit. Under Section 66, we have section audits. Under Section 35, Section 5, we have GST audit, which is to be done by a chartered accountant or cost accountant. But major major grasp that we have to draw is from the audit definition of Section 2, Section 13. Now, what does this say? Audit is the examination of records, returns, and other documents maintained or furnished by the registered person under this Act or rules made thereunder, or under any other law for the time being in force. To verify inter alia the correctness of turnover declared, taxes paid, refund claimed, and income tax credit availed, and to assess his compliance with the provisions of this Act or rules made thereunder. Now, there are certain important things in this definition. The examination is not only of records, returns, or other documents. It is not only the examination of records, returns, and other documents under this law, but under any other law for the time being in force as well. So this line, dear friends, is very important under any other law. During the audit, we will observe that the department is asking for income tax returns, for cost audit reports, for internal audit reports. And we might have a view that since the audit is under Section 65 of GST, we will provide details under GST Act only. But my dear friends, this is not the correct view because Section 2 of Section 13 authorizes them to gather those informations also which are under any other law as well. Another important thing is that this audit can be done only of the registered person, and they will verify not only the correctness of turnovers, taxes, and refunds and input, but assess compliances with the provisions of this Act. So every other section, every other rule, notification, circular becomes important because the whole Act is applicable while doing the audit. Before we move further, I would spend a few minutes discussing the comparison between Section 35 and Section 5 audit that the chartered accountants and cost accountants do and Section 65 that the department will do. So we all know that we did audit under Section 35 and Section 5 and filled Form 9C. And our goal was to provide justice to the definition that we just discussed. And we, as chartered accountants, had to qualify the reports where it was necessary. We had to take care of the fact that taxes have been correctly paid by our clients, funds have been correctly availed by our clients, input tax credits have been correctly claimed by our clients, and if there's anything which is inconsistent with the provisions of the law, we as auditors had to take care of it by either getting it reversed or getting them qualified. Now the same assessee for the same financial year will be audited by the department under Section 65. So can it be said that it is in turn audit of the chartered accountant who audited the client's books of accounts? In my view, it can very well be said so. And what will be the consequences when the department is able to find out certain non-compliances, certain provisions which are not followed properly by the chartered accountant, and he has filed an unqualified 90 report? I would leave this question open for discussion to the learned audience, especially in the light of NAFRA, that is National Financial Reporting Agency.
Shubham sir, sorry for interrupting. Actually, we are receiving comments from the viewers that your voice is breaking. So I think there is some internet
I
issue
will
from your end. So
I will
yeah,
close my video. I think that will be here.
yeah. Then bandwidth will work better. I hope yours now voice will be fine. So just let us know if it again breaks. So
Yeah,
you
please
can
let me
continue
know
now.
if the connection is fine or not. So,
Yes, sir.
so I was discussing if I was discussing the comparison between Section 35(5) and Section 65. The other audit that we did as chartered accountants and we filed Form 9C. The department would be doing the audit of the same assessee for the same financial year, and in turn, it will be an audit of the respective chartered accountant who did the audit under Section 35 or Section 5. So there might be certain inconsistencies between the two audits. It might be possible that the department is able to find out some non-compliances with the law, which the concerned CA or cost accountant who signed the 9C report was not able to find out. So those things should be taken care of. Now, moving on to Section 65. What does Section 65 subsection 1 say? It says the commissioner or any officer authorized by him by way of a general or a specific order may undertake audit of any registered person for such period at such frequency and in such manner as may be prescribed. So the important point to note is registered person can only be audited under Section 65. If a person is unregistered, Section 65 is not applicable to it. There may be other provisions, for example, best judgment assessment, which can be done by the department. And it is only the commissioner or any other officer authorized by the commissioner who can undertake the audit. Now, subsection 2 says the officers referred to in subsection 1 may conduct audit at the place of business of the registered person or in their office. So, the department officers have both the options. They can either call the assessee to their office or they can make a visit to the place of business of the assessee. Now, what is place of business? It has been defined in section 2, subsection 85. Place of business includes a place from where the business is ordinarily carried on. It includes warehouse, a godown, or any other place where a taxable person stores his goods, supplies or receives goods or services or both. A place where a taxable person maintains his books of accounts, or a place where a taxable person is engaged in the business through an agent, by whatever name called. The definition of place of business is very large. It is not only the place from where ordinarily a business is carried on, but your warehouse, your godown, and if they comply with the provisions of additional place of business, then the same should also be shown as a disclosure in the registration certificate. The place where books of accounts are maintained, that place will also be taken as a place of business. Now, sometimes we uh, find out that the books of accounts are maintained at the place of chartered accountants. Now, will that place of business be included in this definition? To my mind, yes, it will be included because it is the place where books of accounts of the SSCs are maintained. And another important thing is a place where a taxable person is engaged in business through an agent. So the premises of agent also becomes the place of business of the SSC. Please be very careful, my friends. The place of business definition is very large and the department has the right to enter any of these places. Subsection 3. The registered person shall be informed by way of a notice not less than 15 working days prior to the conduct of audit in such manner as may be prescribed. So a form ADT-01 will be first issued and after that only the audit will commence. Now, what is common working days? So section 2 subsection 57 defines common working days as common working days in respect of a state or union territory shall mean such days in succession which are not declared as gazetted holidays by the central government or the concerned state or unity government. Hence, all days will be excluded which are gazetted holidays by either the state government or the central government. If a holiday has been declared by the state government, that will be excluded. If a holiday has been declared by central government, that will also be excluded. And then 15 common working days time should be given before the conduct of audit and the form ADT 0 shall be issued. Subsection 4. The audit under subsection 1 shall be completed within a period of 3 months from the date of commencement of audit, provided that where the commissioner is satisfied that audit in respect of such registered person cannot be completed within 3 months, he may extend it for a further period not exceeding 6 months, and he should record the reasons for the same in writing. Now, this extension power cannot be used arbitrarily. There are various High Court decisions and Supreme Court decisions that the major reason behind increasing the time beyond 3 months should be well recorded in writing, and court will have to see if for this application, this extension, the application of mind was done by the commissioner or not, and whether they were properly recorded in extending the period of time or not. If the city is not satisfied with such extension, he can challenge it before the High Court or Supreme Court or filing it under Article 226. So the audit has to be completed within 3 months, but in exceptional circumstances, it can be extended to a further period of 6 months. So 3 plus 6. Now, what is commencement of audit? That has been defined. It shall mean the date on which the records and other documents called for by the tax authorities are made available by the registered person or the actual institution of audit at the place of business, whichever is later. This is a little vague definition because sometimes the department officers keep on asking for the documents. For example, they may ask the documents of 1st September, then they may again ask on 10th September, then 15th September, and the SSC is making them available after every such demand. But we never know when this final demand of documents is made by the department, so that we can consider that particular date as a commencement date. So this is a little bit. If if the visit is made by the department officer at the place of business, then that is conclusive. We know that the officer has visited the place of business on particular date, let us say 20th September. So that 20th September is the commencement date. However, what happens if the department asks for documents after that, because whichever is later word has been used. Also, no form is issued by the department considering the commencement of audit date. So this can be a little vague. The
Uh, Sorry, sir, for interrupting you again. Actually, VB connection is not better. Still, voice is breaking too much. So, can you just
uh,
connect your laptop with your phone's hotspot, so that
it
it
is
can improve?
connected with the
Hotspot only.
phones. Yeah.
Okay, so
Just a second. I'll just change the place. Just a second.
yeah, you can just switch the internet.
Am I audible?
Yes, sir, you are audible now.
And is the connection better?
Yes, now it's better. So you can continue, sir.
Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Let me know again if the connection is not good.
Yeah, sure, sir.
Right. So commencement of audit, I was discussing that it is a vague terminology since no form has been issued by the department for the same. We will come to it a little later again as well. Subsection 6 says that on conclusion of audit, the proper officer shall within 30 days inform the registered person whose records are audited about the findings, his rights and obligations, and the reasons for such findings. So once audit is concluded, a form ADT02 will be issued by the proper officer within 30 days. Then under subsection 7, where the audit conducted under subsection 1 results in detection of tax not paid or short paid or erroneously refunded, or input tax credit wrongly availed or utilized, the proper officer may initiate action under Section 73 or Section 74. So after the audit is done, notice shall be issued under Section 73 or 74. And through these sections only, the demand for the tax or reversal of ITC can be made. There is a difference between authorized officer and proper officer. Section 2, subsection 91 defines the term proper officer in relation to any function to be performed under this act, which means the commissioner or the officer of the CGST who is assigned that function by the commissioner. And whereas proper officer is has been defined by circular number 3 by 3 by 2017, and it may be apt to highlight that section 65(1) uses the word commissioner or any officer authorized by him, and section 65 subsection 2 uses the word section 65 subsection 6 uses the word proper officer. So the proper officer is basically an officer who does the execution work, and authorized officer is the commissioner who authorizes the audit under section 65. Now the difference between completion and conclusion is also very important to note. Since the two words have been used, under section 65 subsection 4, the word completion has been used, and under section 65 subsection 6, the word conclusion has been used. Coming back to subsection 4, it says the audit under subsection 1 shall be completed within a period of 3 months from the date of commencement of audit. And subsection 6 says on conclusion of audit, the proper officer shall within 30 days inform the registered person about his findings. So what is the difference between completion and conclusion? So these words, conclusion and completion, have been taken to the court various times, and the final part of the speech or the writing or a judgment which is given by the jury shall be considered as a conclusion, whereas completion is only a part of conclusion. So conclusion is a bigger area and completion is a subset of conclusion. For example, the desk review is completed by the officer, documents have been taken by the officer, that field work is over, that will be called as completion. And once the back-end working is also over by the department and the notice is issued under the final notice is issued under ADT 02, then that will be termed as conclusion. We can also refer to the case law of Messrs. Anand Brothers Private Limited versus Union of India to understand in detail the difference between the two. Now, what is Section 71? Any officer under this Act, authorized by the proper officer not below the rank of the commissioner, shall have access to any place of business of a registered person to inspect books of accounts, documents, computers, programs, computer softwares, whether reinstalled in a computer or otherwise, and such other things as he may require, and which may be available at such place for the purpose of carrying out any audit, scrutiny, verification, and checks as may be necessary to safeguard the interest of revenue. So, large powers have been given under Section 71, which has to be read with Section 65. They have the power to inspect not only the books of accounts physically maintained, but also the computers and the softwares and the programs, your pen drives, hard disks, everything. However, it is not an investigative power. The investigative power is given under Section 67. It is not an investigation. It is only an audit. They cannot break open the locks. You cannot break open the doors or do checking of the persons coming in, coming out. Those powers are in excess. In Section 67, the powers are excess. This is only an audit power. Subsection 2 says, every person in charge of place referred to in subsection 1 shall on demand make available to the officer authorized under subsection 1 or the audit party deputed by the proper auditor or a cost accountant or chartered accountant nominated under section 66. Such records as prepared or maintained by the registered person and declared to the proper officer, trial balance, annual financial accounts, cost audit reports, income tax audit reports, and any other relevant record within a period not exceeding 15 days from the day when such demand is made. So, under subsection 2, the various list of documents have been mentioned, and it very clearly says any other relevant document. And such documents have to be given within 15 working days from the day when such demand is made. Now, what is the procedure? Section 65, subsection 3, read with Rule 101, the officer shall first issue Form ADT-01 and the proceedings will thereafter start. But what will happen if no response from the auditee? If no response is received from the auditee, then a reminder explaining the penal provisions of Section 122, 123, and 125 of non-complying with the government notice shall be given. And if it is still not followed, then a red flag for the further proceedings would be done with the records of the department, and such information will then be given to various respective zonal units of Directorate General of Audit as well. In addition to that, his GST compliance rating will also be downgraded. Now, dear friends, we know that the GST compliance rating is not yet applicable on the portal, but it has been envisaged in law that a 10-point rating system would be there, and for each such non-compliance, the rating will be reduced. If the notice is accepted and replied, then audit shall be conducted by the officer, and on conclusion of the audit, the officer shall issue ADT-02. It is also worthwhile to mention that maintenance of accounts and records under Section 35 becomes very important. Now, this is the flowchart of the process given in the audit manual. I have made it in a simplified flowchart. Auditee will be selected based on risk parameters. Then auditee will be issued ADT-01 for audit 15 days prior to the commencement. Then audit will commence at premises of assessee or department. Thereafter, if assessee cooperates and submit all informations, the audit completes within three months or a further period of 6 months if it has been extended by the commissioner. Then department sends intimation in form ADT-01A if there is any objection raised by the assessee. For example, in form ADT-1, the audit starts and lot of information is asked by the assessee, and those replies are given in those audit findings are given in ADT-1A, and replies to those audit paras in audit 1A, ADT-1A will be given in ADT-1B. So the unit's reply, consent and objections shall be given in ADT-1B, and department updates and send those findings and conclude such audit by issuing ADT-02 within 30 days. After that, a notice under section 73 or 74 can be issued for recovery if there is any recovery, and if there is no recovery or no addition, then the audit shall be deemed to be concluded. Now, what is the objective and principle of audit? The objective is to measure the level of compliance of taxpayer, to examine the accuracy of declarations made by assessee, to examine if the results produced by accounting software are correct with respect to the liability. So a short form of IT audit would also be done, to assess under reporting of output liability, and it is driven by the vision of getting the right tax at the right time. So these are the objectives and principles which have been mentioned in the audit manual issued by the department. What are the general guidelines issued to the department auditor? That auditor has to keep in view the prevalent trade practices and economic realities of industry. For example, we know that the world and the economy is having coronavirus pandemic right now. So they have to undertake this current scenario that economy is down. Hence, have to understand that the turnover might increase from 2017 to 2018 to 2019, but in 2020, the turnover may drastically fall because of the economic realities. Auditor also has to take a balanced and rational approach while conducting the audit, and they have to voluntary compliance by SSE. Uh, One more important thing is that the officer has to maintain speaking documents clearly explaining why a particular area was included in the audit plan. And for every objection, a written speaking order should be there. They have to maintain transparency and confidentiality. The line auditor has to take balanced and rational approach while conducting audit has been taken verbatim from the audit manual, and this can be used during the audits because anything which is beneficial to the SSE that can be used, be it a circular or be it an audit manual, even though it is not a law. Now, what will be the period which will be covered during audit? Period can be for any financial year. It can also be for a part of financial year, or it can be multiples thereof. For example, 6 months of 2017, 4 months of 2018. So, various parts of financial years can also be covered. What is the general timeline given to the officers? The internal guidelines state that audit that is inclusive of desk review, preparation and approval of audit plan, and preparation of audit report shall be completed within 6 to 8 working days for large taxpayers, 4 to 6 working days of medium taxpayers, and 2 to 4 working days of small taxpayers. And if audit is for multiple financial years, then above timeline to be increased by 25% for each such additional year. However, these timelines seem to be on the paper only, because practically I have seen that audit goes on for long duration of time, and when it is a large taxpayer, it goes on for months. We know that audit has to be done within 3 months, but it has to be done after the commencement of audit. The commencement itself takes a lot of time. Let us understand the exhaustive stage-wise action of audit. First of all, the audit teams will be created. Then preparation of schedule will be done on the basis of the risk assessment list provided by the Directorate General of Audit, which is the apex body in the CBIC for conducting audits. And this schedule will be divided into annual and quarterly audit schedules, and the allotment of taxpayers would be done to the audit groups. It is important that this audit group name is mentioned or audit group number is mentioned in the notice ADT01. I will also share a sample of the notice in the end, and we will see the audit group number mentioned on it. Then intimation to the registered person will be done under ADT01. Then taxpayers data will be reviewed. These registrations will be taken, returns would be downloaded, being GST 1, 3B, 2A, 9, 9C. Payments would be seen. If any dispute had been during the financial year, audit report, utilities, e-way bill, third-party data, everything would be downloaded. And thereafter, when the data is gathered, a desk review would be done either in offline mode or online mode. Audit plan would be made, and verification and uploading of the report would be done within 24 hours of the completion of audit. This uploading would be done in their internal system, where a monetary committee meeting would verify that the report and the audit done by the department officer is correct or not. So they have their internal process where the audit and verification done by the proper officer will be reviewed by their senior members. Which where will it be done? It will be done in monthly monetary committee meetings, and they happen every month. And each and every audit para that has been raised by the proper officer will be discussed in detail. And thereafter, a final audit report within 30 days of the conclusion of the MCM would be uploaded, and thereafter the audit report would be communicated to the taxpayer in ADT02. If there is any finding in ADT02, it will be mentioned there, and a show cause notice under section 73 or 74 would be issued thereafter for the recovery proceedings. Now, how would the assessee be selected for an audit? Now, this selection is very scientific these days. It would be done based on the resources and information of assessee in hand, and the focus of the department, as per the audit manual, is not to audit large number of assessees, but the focus is to choose only a few cases with proper planning and audit material, so as to not to dilute the quality of audit. So the focus is on quality and not on quantity, and such selection will be done on scientific manner after gathering various informations from various risk parameters. This risk assessment methodology will be provided by Director General of Audit and will be communicated to the audit commissioners. As per Annexure GST AM12, various risk factors are given to the assessee, and thereafter the assessment would be done, the assessment of the risk. What is management of audit? Let us understand the hierarchy. The topmost is the Directorate General of Audit, which is the nodal agency to guide, monitor, and coordinate effective implementation of the audit system. And they will advise the board, that is PBIC, for measure of enhanced tax compliances, to gauge the level of audit standards and to ascertain the views taken from various registered persons. And this Directorate General of Audit is headed by the Principal Director General or the Director General. Now, under this department, there are 7 zonal units, one each at Ahmedabad, Bangalore, Chennai, Delhi, Hyderabad, Kolkata, and Mumbai. And they have to ensure that effective implementation of the audit system is being done, and also to evolve audit techniques. They will see the number of assessees for audits are sufficient and that the audits are conducted as per law, and these zonal units are headed by Additional Director General. Then we have zonal principal chief commissioners, and they act as a link between Director General of Audit and GST audit commissionerates of each zone. Their main role is to review the performance of GST audit commissionerates. GST audit commissionerates are then further divided into various sections: be it planning and coordination, administrative, personnel and vigilance section, technical section, legal section, risk management section, quality assurance section, various circles. Then these are all headed by GST audit commissionerates. Now, these were the officers that we discussed till now into planning, and uh, who used to direct and give guidelines. Now we have those officers which are into execution. The topmost officer into execution level is the principal commissioner and the commissioners. They have to ensure that the selection of assessee to be audited during the year is on the basis of risk assessment in consultation with the Directorate General of Audit. They also have to ensure that 20% of the taxpayers to be audited are selected based on local risk factors and obtain the approval of the chief commissioners. They will approve the desk review and audit plan in respect of top 5 assessees of each audit circle. Now, it has not been explained that what do they mean by top 5 assessees. Is it on the basis of turnover, or are they on the basis of tax liability paid? But from the journal parlance, we can understand the assessee paying maximum tax or having the maximum turnover. Both shall be considered in top 5 assessees of each audit circle. And those top 5 assessees would be directly reviewed by the commissioner. Then they will hold either circle wise or any number of circles together as deemed necessary the monitoring committee meetings. They will ensure that the monitoring committee meeting is held by using the offline audit report utility. It is their internal utility, and no paper-based audit report is prepared. So, under the Digital India scheme, they also are willing to do all their compliances online. They will review the audit performance and to take steps for improvement, to make remedial measures, to review the performance and participations of the junior officers, being additional and joint commissioners and deputy and assistant commissioners. They will also interact with major assessees to obtain the feedback on the audit systems. They will also submit periodical reports to the zonal ADG, Director General of Audit, as a feedback. Then we have additional and joint commissioners. Uh, since the PPT would be made available, I would not go into length and details about the roles of each and every officer. However, one point is important here that the scrutiny of nil draft audit reports will be done by the additional and joint commissioners. Now, dear friends, please note that since the auditee is selected on the basis of scientific sampling after gathering so much information, and still zero addition is made in the draft audit reports, then it is a red flag or a question mark in their internal process, and those nil DARs will be scrutinized by the additional and joint commissioners themselves. Now, there is a concept of accredited status of assessee. What is this accredited status? It is a status similar to the status which is given in customs as well. It is given based on their proven track record of compliance with tax laws and procedures. So it's like a badge, it is like an award, it is like a trophy that those assessees which are compliant, they will normally not audited every year. They will be given exemptions, and it has been decided that such assessees will be normally audited only after 3 years from last audit. The procedure and criteria for such accreditation is not yet defined, and it may be communicated separately later on. But the concept of accredited status is there. Then the profiling of the registered person. The process has been mentioned. Its purpose is to do the audit. And what can be the sources of profiling registered persons? They can be application for registrations, registration documents, returns, annual returns, e-way bills. All this data is already available with them on the portal. If they are supplying something, then the purchaser has all the data in their GSTR 2A. If we are receiving something, then the supplier from which we are purchasing, they have their GSTR 1. So all the data can be cross-verified one line behind and line ahead. They can also ask for income tax returns, cost audit reports, etc. due to the provisions under Section 2 subsection 13. Now, preparation of audit schedule. It says that an annual plan will be made. Audit commissionerates will release an annual plan indicating the names of registered persons proposed to be audited. So, an annual plan would be there where the names of the persons to be audited would already be there. It will also have the time, that what will be the probable time when such particular assessee would be audited, how many officers would be visiting the premises, what would be the strength of such uh, audit team. However, it will be kept very secret. It only mentions that a proper process and procedure is there, plan is there, timing is there, strength is there. It will also categorize the assessee on the large, medium, and small basis. What will be the criteria for large, medium, and small? Again, there is no clear-cut definition which can say that okay, assessee having more than 20 crores turnover would be considered as a large. There is no such criteria. It can vary from commissionerate to commissionerate. One criteria can be turnover, other can be the tax paid. It will also depend on the manpower availability in audit commissionerates. If the manpower is limited, then the assessees would be the large assessees would be those which have even higher turnover, because now there is a lesser strength of the audit department to do the audit. Then total number of registered persons and turnover of each such registered person in the jurisdiction of the audit commissionerate would also depend on that. So if there are only, let us say, 5 assessees in a circle, then all those 5 would be audited. If there are 5,000, then percentage of those 5,000 only would be audited due to the shortage of manpower. So that is why there is no clear-cut criteria for dividing or categorizing them in large, medium, and small. It may be noted that audit threshold limits may vary from one commissionerate to another in view of varying number of registered persons and quantum of value of outward supply of each such registered person. However, this guidelines will be issued by the apex body, that is Director General of Audit, and it can change from year to year. And the manual says that such scheduling will be done every half year. So one half year they can be a separate criteria, another half year they can be a separate criteria. Then there is a concept of theme-based audits. Theme-based coordinated audits at all India level would be done. They can pick up a particular theme, for example, a sensitive commodity, and they can audit all those assessees which fall in that definition of sensitive commodity. Let us say they pick a sensitive commodity being sanitizers or jewelers dealing in gold. So that theme can be picked up and assessees falling in that particular theme all over India would be audited. Who will select this theme and what would be the criteria? Again, the apex body, the Director General of Audit, would define that what would be the criteria for defining this theme. A systematic and methodological risk analysis of internal data of registered person would be done. Economic indicators would be taken into account. Third party information would be taken into account. And the DG audit would be in consultation with the trade industry also. And this theme would be intimated well in advance, say 4 to 6 months, to the field officers, not to the assessees or to the public, but to the field officers. Number of such audits would be once in a year or twice in a year. And the theme-based coordinated audits would also be carried out at the zonal levels. Then there are a lot of other informations mentioned in the departmental manual. For example, reviewing taxpayers' data from taxpayers' data in form of GST M1, actions to be taken by audit groups, scrutiny of important documents, cost accounting records, reconciliation between third-party informations. We will discuss a few of these annexures in the upcoming slides. And people may note that all these detailed informations with respect to the topics coming on the screen are also available in the audit manual. Now let us see the notice, a demo of the notice. We see that GST ADT 01 has been issued under Rule 101. A DIN number has to be mentioned. Now some uh, SGST acts have still not taken into account this DIN compliance. Hence, there might be some notices on which DIN number is not there. Then it will be better to first give a written communication to the concerned jurisdiction officer and ask for the reasons that why DIN number is not mentioned. Till that time, in my view, no need to reply, and that particular notice can be considered as invalid. Now, how to check if that DIN is authentic or not? There is a website cbicddm.gov.in. You can mention the DIN number over there, and certain internal information would crop up about the name of the person or the superintendent who has issued it, and we can verify the genuineness of the audit, genuineness of the notice by visiting the website cbicddm.gov.in. Let us read the demo of a notice. Notice for conducting audit. The internal audit group number 5C. So as we discussed, that the audit group number is required to be mentioned compulsorily, which has been mentioned here, comprising of so and so person who will lead the team, have been authorized and deputed by the Assistant Commissioner, Central Goods and Service Tax, Audit Circle so and so, to audit your books of accounts and records in accordance with the provisions of Section 65. In accordance with the above, you are hereby required to furnish documents, records as mentioned in Annexure A in person. We'll see what Annexure A asks for. You are also required to attend in person or designate a person, preferably a senior employee, who is well conversant with the workings and accounts of the establishment, for coordinating with the audit team for timely completion of audit. Now, dear friends, I have seen in my practical experience that the staff of the SESI keeps on changing, and the current staff says that, sir, we do not know what happened in 2017. Sir, we do not know what happened in 2018. We were not there. The notice clearly says you are requested to attend in person, preferably a senior employee who is well conversant with the workings and accounts of the establishment. And the name, designation, contact numbers, and email ID of the person so designated will also be communicated. So it is the pure whole and sole responsibility of the SESI to provide a designated person who is well conversant with such books of accounts. You are further requested to extend full cooperation with the officers deputed for audit and make available all the records as requested by the audit team. Further, it should be noted the proposed audit is a statutory audit as per the departmental instructions in regard to audit and has no relation to any audit concerned by CAG officer. So a SARA audit is also done sometimes. If that has been done, it has no relation with the current Section 65 audit. They are both mutually exclusive. And the documents asked in Annexure A must reach within 15 days from the receipt of this letter. In case of failure to comply with this notice, it would be presumed that you are not in possession of such books of accounts, and proceedings as deemed fit may be initiated as per the provisions of CGST Act. In normal circumstances, no waiver or deferment of audit is allowed. In case of extreme circumstances, the request for the same may be addressed to the assistant commissioner in this case or whatever authority they mention in the audit, ADT 01. In case of any difficulty, you can get in touch with the officers. Now, this is the annexure A which came with this ADT 01 notice. Now, look at the amount of details. Most of the details are already available with them. Annexure GSTM 1, 5, 6, which we will discuss in the upcoming slides. But GST returns 1, 2A, 3B, 9, 9C, registration certificates, e-way bill, show cause notice, everything is already there with them. But again, they are asking. We have the option to either say that, dear sir, these things are already there with you, or we can comply with them and cooperate with them and provide them. It gives us additional brownie points that okay, the SESI is compliant. They are also asking for copy of 26 AS, uh, Form 3CD under Section 44 AB of Income Tax Act. So we know that a memorandum of understanding has been signed between CBIC and CBDT, but the data would be transferred and exchanged every quarter. They therefore they have all this data, but if they are asking and if we have to cooperate to gain some brownie points, we should give them all these details. They are asking for a list of input service suppliers, capital goods, input tax credit ledgers, memorandums between parties, agreements, contracts, list of branch offices, copy of tranche 1 notice, etc. Now, annexure GSTM1, what is this annexure which has been asked in the notice as well as mentioned in the audit manual? It is basically a basic information of the SSE, name of the registered person, GSTN, its address, the constitution of the firm of the SSE, whether it is a LLP, partnership, proprietorship, address, registered office address, etc., which is a very comprehensive form. HSNY is details of values of goods supplied, their input tax credits, GST services code wise. Now, we know that in Form 9, the HSNY details have been made optional, but they may ask in GSTM Annexure 1 under Section 65. So, maintaining books of accounts with proper HSN-wise details is very important. Sooner or later, it has to be given, in my opinion, be it updated form of Annexure 9, be it GSTM 1 of Section 65, or probably next year, that option not giving HSN details in GSTR 9 may be removed. And also, it is only for 2 years currently, 2017 and 2018. Details of zero rated supplies, deemed exports, etc. A lot of details. Then there is GST AM Annexure 3. The details are annual reports, director reports, profit and loss balance sheet, notes to accounts, trial balance, cost audit reports, and tax returns. Then there is GST Manager 4, where uh, various tricky details have been asked with respect to ratio analysis. For example, input tax credit availed is to total tax paid through electronic cash ledger and input tax credit ledger. So they will find out a ratio. The total inward supply cost is to total outward supply value. Outward supply of scrap is to total outward supplies made. So all these ratios will help them find out if there is some lacuna, or is there any uh, is if the tax is being evaded or excess ITC is being claimed. So all these ratio analysis is being done in Annexure 4. Then there is Annexure 5, where the information that you will give will be matched, reconciled, and verified with data you have given in other authorities and other forms. For example, quantity manufactured, production manufacture account details, they will ask for the production and manufacture account under section 56 of GST Act. They will such information is also given in point number 28B, capital B, point number 3 of income tax audit report. This information also goes to in the schedule to balance sheet, and it also goes into ITR 6 part A QD. So one information goes in various places, and they will see if there is any difference in these informations or not. There might be some difference because each form is governed by its respective law, respective rule. There might be a slight difference while filing ITR 6, or there might be a difference while filing annual return, because they are governed by the respective income tax law and respective GSTN. But they should be explainable. The differences should be explainable. Otherwise, if there is a difference, then that is again a red flag. For example, a goods cleared quantity. Again, it will be taken from the records. Then such information goes in table 17 and table 18 of GSTR 9. It also goes in cost audit report serial number 4. It also goes in income tax audit report 28 point. It is also part of schedule to balance sheet. It was also a part of ITR 6 in part A QD. So they are verifying single information from various sources. So this is a very comprehensive way of comparison. Then there is Annexure GST AM6, which is a complete internal control system checklist. This can also be used by us in our internal audits or in our GST audits. They have a complete list. For example, for purchases, they have so many questions that whether all purchases are centralized or decentralized, if all purchases are authorized by a few persons or not, and on the basis of that they will come to certain conclusions. Outward supplies, inward supplies, stores, tax accounting, job work. So this is a complete uh, questionnaire. So, Sobhitji, we are almost in the last part of our slide, and there are certain FAQs that I would like to discuss. Can they ask for the entire books of accounts? Yes, they can ask for entire books of accounts. Can a SGST officer do audit for this financial year once audit is already done by CGST officer for the same financial year and vice versa? So in theory, the answer is yes. But we know they have n number of assessees to do audit for. So most likely, once the audit is done by one uh, under one act, then the same assessment might not be undertaken for an audit by another authority. It is better they move on to some other assessee. But if theory is concerned, the answer is yes. The burden to prove the guilt is on the department, since the department is doing audit under section 65. They have to prove that we have evaded taxes. Do we have to answer all queries? Sir, if we have to comply, if we have to gain some brownie points, then we should answer. Otherwise, no. They have all their records with them. We can answer, if we have to be strict, we can answer only to the point, and they can issue a show cause notice under 73 and 74, and the same can be challenged later on. So when to believe that the audit is commenced? Now, this is a question that comes various times. The first easiest way to figure out is if they visit physically. If they if they visit physically, that day is the date when the audit commences. Otherwise, nothing is conclusive because they can keep on asking for details one after other, one after other. Once they have asked for, I have taken a view that once a comprehensive amount of information is taken by them, that can be said to be the date when the audit has commenced. For example, in the notice ADT one, we saw they have asked for so many details. We can conclude or come to a conclusion that on that particular date, when we submit all the documents, the audit is deemed to be commenced. Can they ask the data in soft copy? Yes, they can ask, but it is better we give some physical copies also, and it is better we get some acknowledgement for the data submitted so that we have some proof. Now, permission to enter premises is under section 71 or 67. So as I discussed in the preceding slides, the permission is under section 71, which is a permission for audit, and not under 67, which is a permission for search, seizure, and inspection. So the power is limited under section 71. Is DIN number compulsory? Certain SGST acts have not yet considered this provision. So it is better we send a letter to the department seeking reasons for the same. And 15 days period to reply the notice is given. It is to be taken from the date of issue or date of service. The word mentioned in section 65 is informed. So I have taken this meaning as service, and the 15 days period will start from there. So with this, I conclude my session.
Thank you, Shubham ji. Sunil, can you on the camera?
Yeah.
प्रियंका जी,
Yes.
जो क्वेरीज हो व्यूअर्स की या आपकी, तो वी कैन टेक अप विद द शुभम जी. म्यूट है.
Priyanka ji, I cannot hear you.
म्यूट है आपका.
So, sir, there is a query from Mr. Rao. He is asking that he is one of the clients in hardware. There are an n number of items, and he don't maintain any HSN records. He don't have any HSN records. तो उस केस में क्या होगा सर?
Sir, if it is possible, we should create this working, if possible, and we should prepare the list of HSN documents. If not possible, at least we can take a view of top 10% of the supplies, be it outward or inward, because the same exemption was given by the CBIC in GSTR 9. So if we are able to give at least 10%, and then we can discuss with the officer, proper officer, that since there is no requirement in the law for the same, we are not able to give the information HSN wise.
शुभम जी, जो आप ऑडिट की बात कर रहे हैं डिपार्टमेंट का, तो डिपार्टमेंट
हाँ
ने
जी,
स्टार्ट कर दिए हैं ऑलरेडी अभी या क्या?
नोटिस आने स्टार्ट हो गए थे,
ओके.
फेब्रवरी में स्टार्ट हो गए थे, जैसे ही GST 9 और 9C सबने सबमिट कर दिए थे, और इनिशिएट भी हो गए थे, लेकिन मार्च 22 से लॉकडाउन शुरू हो गया था इंडिया में, तो
ओके.
उसके बाद से वो थोड़ा सस्पेंशन मोड में चले गया. बट जैसे जैसे अनलॉक होगा, वी आर एक्सपेक्टिंग कि अब देयर विल बी अ इन्फ्लक्स ऑफ नोटिसेस अंडर सेक्शन 65.
तो फ्यूचर में मुझे लगता है कहीं ना कहीं अभी नियर फ्यूचर में दे विल अगेन रीस्टार्ट द प्रोसेस ऑफ दिस ऑडिट.
Yes, I am also of the same view that audits can be started soon.
एंड
So, sir,
एनी व्यू. जी. जी प्रियंका जी.
regarding audit date.
Uh, I did not get your question. Can you repeat,
प्रियंका,
please?
can you repeat? अभी clear नहीं हुआ. Can you repeat? जी प्रियंका जी.
Sir, I was asking, do you have any expectation that department will, because due to this COVID-19, nobody is going office, everybody is working from home, and ये थोड़ा सा मुश्किल हो गया to complete the audit, to complete the GST audit. अगर किसी के पास notice भी आता है तो will they allow some more time? Is there any relaxation?
See, legally, the commissioner can extend it for further period of 6 months. So we can write it to the commissioner. But why should we get it extended? If once the audit is commenced, then it is up to the department to finish it within 3 months. We can, however, make sure that the proper officer does the audit through online mode only. The physical visits can be avoided as much as possible, and since the data, most of the data is already available with them on the portal. Most of the work, let us say at least 80% of the work can be done by them uh, through distance audit itself. And in case for the conclusion there is a need to visit, then 1 day or 2 day visit can be done. And I'm sure the officers, proper officers, will also understand the gravity of the situation the world is going through, and they would definitely give us some leverage in that.
So there is one more query from Mr. Amitabh. He is asking, Section 65 states that audit shall commence from the date of first submission of records. Please elaborate.
So
You want
it
explanation
is
on
a
this?
no, it is a basically a query of commencement of audit, and the commencement of audit is very vaguely defined in the law. It says that it will commence once all the data is submitted as asked by the officer, or the field visit made by the proper officer, whichever is later. So there is no form given by the officer that we consider this date as a commencement of audit date. We will have to take it as a practical approach that we have to take it as a practical approach that okay, once sufficient amount of documents as asked has been submitted, we can consider it as a commencement date. And while doing the audit, we can discuss with the officer that, dear sir, can we consider this as the commencement date or not? Or once the visit is made by the officer physically, then that can be taken as a commencement date, or provided no further documents are asked thereafter, because the words mentioned are whichever is later.
Okay, sir. Sumit sir, I think there are no more queries, so we can conclude the session. So, sir, sir, you are on mute.
Sure, Priyanka ji. Yeah, you can conclude the session.
Sir, so Shubham sir, thank you so much for such a great deliberation on GST audit by the department. We got so much knowledge from this session today, and thanks a lot once again. Okay, Sumit sir, there is one more
Thank you,
query. So,
Priyanka
so
ji.
can we take this query,
Yeah,
or
yeah, please.
जी.
the
Yeah,
query
yeah,
is,
Yes,
please,
yes,
please.
please.
what if
Take
the
it.
audit overshoots over more than 3 months? If it overshoots 3 months.
So that will become inconclusive. So within 3 months, they will have to issue ADT 02. And if there is any finding in ADT 02, they will have to issue show cause notice under 73-74. For the issuance of show cause notice, there is a time limit of 5 years from the date of filing annual return, if it is for reason of fraud, and 3 years from the date of filing annual return, if it is for the reasons other than fraud or willful misstatement. However, as far as conclusion of audit is concerned, it has to be concluded within 3 months or extended period of 6 months. Otherwise, it will be an invalid void audit.
Okay, thank you, sir. Sir, we are also receiving good remarks and compliment from the audience as well. They are more confident after this session. They are more confident to deal with the department regarding this GST audit. So, thank you so much
Thank you so much.
for this session. I would request Sumit
Thank
sir
you,
to
viewers.
give the give the remarks, concluding remarks of this session.
Thank you, Priyanka ji, for wonderful coordinating and Shubham ji, wonderful session. जीएसटी ऑडिट जो डिपार्टमेंट की साइड से होना है उसका एक इंसाइट हम लोगों को मिला, तो सभी की तरफ से थैंक्स एंड हमारी तरफ से स्पेशली थैंक्स शुभम जी फॉर गिविंग वंडरफुल टाइम विद अस एंड टू ऑल
Thank
व्यूअर्स
you,
थैंक
Sumit. Thank you, Sumit, for providing this opportunity on your wonderful platform to invite me to speak on this topic. And thank you, Priyanka ji, for coordinating it so wonderfully. And thank you,
you to
my
all,
dear viewers.
thank you,
Thank you.
Thank
thank
you,
you to all,
everyone. Thank you, all
thank you,
viewers, for watching this webinar. And we will be organizing more webinars, and you will be informed. Thank you so much.
thank you.